Hey, hello everybody. This is Denise Guru, your Ascension Oracle. Today I thought I'd do something a little bit different. I'm outside on my front porch because the sun is blasting my back porch and it's already just too hot out there. But I thought I'd do this video outside today instead of in my house because, you know, it's the end of August and summer is just leaving and I'm very, very sad about that. So anyways, yes, this video is about the fifth dimension and how do you envision the fifth dimension? How can we bring the fifth dimension in and actually integrate it and live it if we can't even envision it? I spend a lot of time in my spiral wheel, and I think if you look, that's the edge of it there. It's 30 feet. And every morning I go out there when I feed the horses and I sit in my wheel and I connect with Gaia and the lady goddess and talk to her about the fifth dimension. And I've been doing this for a long time. And, you know, population control has been a large topic lately. And, you know, for us to have this planet back to her, and this is what she's saying, for her to go back to the original plan, you know, with the Lemurians, the population wasn't 7 billion. There was never a plan for the population on this planet to explode like it did. And a lot of it had to do with the Cabal and their breeding program to have more slaves. You know, it was always about bringing in more slaves, breeding program to bring in slaves and then send slaves off planet to different civilizations as slaves, a lot for food. And I apologize if it's too dark, but my other patio was way too light. It was just too hot. You don't need to see me anyways. So yes, population control. And we have to be reminded that we are overusing her resources. They are being pillaged. I mean, when you see those shows on TV, the gold digging show, you see what they do to her surface. If you look at what the ancients have already done to the surface of her body, the mining for the gold and the precious, you know, the other precious gems and metals and diamonds and everything, you can see that her beauty is not what it once used to be. And so she is talking about restoring the population to the original plan. And this is not a bad thing because we already see it today, don't we? How many people, the starseeds, the awakened earth humans, it's like they're up against this massive herd that does not want anything to do with this awakening. They do not care about the planet. They don't care how much resources they use. They don't care that they the resources that are used by factory farming, for one, they don't care. They don't want to look at it. They don't care that other beings are suffering. They don't care that we are burning our forests, our rainforests, which is the oxygen of our planet. They don't care that we're burning more forests because we need to grow more crops to feed more animals. And that was not the original plan here. She keeps reminding, none of this was the original plan. And so we are, yes, in this, the sixth phase of extinction. And it is just a natural control. She knows how to control, she knew how to control the population of the animal species before we got involved, because we just control the species for food and for monetary gain. You know, Teddy Roosevelt was the one that started the DNR and, you know, the departments of natural resources. At first it was maybe to, yes, control the people that were just going out there and shoot. Remember what they did to the buffalo? We just went out there and shot them just because. Why? Because we could. We just shot them and just let them be piled up, and look what it did to the Native American. That at that point, that was the Native Americans' main food source. And yes, Gaia allowed that because there was not 7 billion of them, and they were not factory farming them, and they honored the sacrifice. The buffalo actually chose to give their life to the Native Americans. Just like we will come to the time where we will choose when to ascend off of this planet, ascend to higher dimensions, ascend. You know, we at that point we won't have to lose our bodies. That's what it's all about. It's about taking our bodies in. So she's talking about the population control, and there will be any means used. And the COVID, yes, we call it the dark cabal, you know, of course it is. It's the cabal. They want to do the population control too. They know the same thing, don't they? They know that there's too many of us now. They've got all the money that they want, all the wealth that they want, and it's gotten out of hand. And so they know the population has to come down. But because of their own needs, they want the population brought down so they can be the only ones to inhabit this planet and do what they want. And they want to get rid of all of us. And that includes the awakened humans. That includes us, because we cannot be ruled. We cannot be under their thumb anymore. And so their reasoning is a lot different than what Gaia is saying. And Gaia is saying this can be a natural process. The people who choose to move on will go on to another 3D planet. Remember, Gaia, she is a planet that other planets had gone through the ascension, just like she's going through right now. And so those people on those other planets that didn't make the cut, what did they do? They came here. They came here to, once again, work out what they needed to change and how they needed to grow so they could ascend. So all these other beings were coming here. So that didn't help us either, did it? And so the same thing's happening here. It's time now for this planet to go back to her original self. And so she says, you know, the population, we're seeing people leave right and left. People are just dying, you know, cancer is so rampant. It's this fast growing cancer where people they feel a little ill. So they go to the doctor and they go, oh yeah, aggressive form. They're gone in a week. I mean, we hear about this all the time. So a lot of people are choosing, you know, they just can't make the frequency. The frequency is changing. And so they just can't deal with it anymore. And it's not, and like she says, it's a term that we always use. It is what it is. It is what it is. It's not a bad thing. It's just, it is what it is. So yes, the new Earth will have, the humanity will not be 7 billion. And we need that to happen so Gaia can restore her natural beauty. And the trees that I have behind me, you know, some of these trees are over 100 years old. And the trees, when I write fantasy, you know, but when I world build, it's like I am channeling the original Gaia, how she originally looked. And so when I channel that, these are nothing but shrubs. And if you read like my second book, Samaya, where they start out in Lemuria, and they know about Agartha, and the reptilians are closing in on Lemuria, and they deal with Atlantis and all that, and they end up Lemuria ends up, you know, sinking, but they end up in Agartha. And the world building was so much fun. Our trees will be restored back to their hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of feet tall. we will just have these beautiful canopies that we will live under. We can live in the trees. Many of us will find ways. Remember the tree houses? Why did we just think it was so cool to live in a tree house as kids? We wanted to live in tree houses, right? We wanted forts out in the woods. Why? Because we were remembering the original form, the way we used to originally live. That's ingrained in our cell memory, and we want to get back to nature. And so we'll be able to do that. And so the flora and the fauna will be so much different than it is already. I mean, everything will be a lot bigger because she will be able to heal her surface, heal her epidermis, so everything can grow again. Everything can be cleansed and cleared of all the toxins that we've have to deal with that are suppressing the growth. It's so much harder for us to grow anything these days. You know, we're talking about the GMOs, you know, and it's because of what we've done. It's just so much of a strain on her surface. So growing will be so easy. Things will just naturally grow. A lot of things we won't have to grow. We won't have to have these, that's what she's telling me right now. We won't have to have these massive farms because so much will be, the vegetation and the nuts and the fruits will be so abundant that we'll be able to just go out and get what we need. Remember, the population won't be 7 billion. So it won't be such a huge demand. And so we'll be able to go out there. The temperatures will change. Yes, we could have, like, if somebody likes the snow, yes, you will still be able to go up to the mountains. I'm in the mountains, but I'm in like what do they call it? The Sun Belt, even though I'm 8,500 feet and the mountains are right here. I don't have to be up there in Vail and Aspen where they get dumped on feet and feet and feet, but you'll still be able to do that if you want. But the temperature of the planet will re-regulate. It will be more temperate. We won't see such severe temperature changes. Now, yeah, they're talking about we're going into a mini ice age, but that is for the 3D. That's for the people who choose just to do the 3D thing yet. They want to experience that yet. And so it's so hard to imagine, isn't it? Because everything we've had to do up until going into the 5th dimension is going to the grocery store, is growing. You know, I live here in Colorado, and if you can see, my ground is pretty dry. So it's really hard to grow anything here. I try to grow flowers in my flower bed, and you know, the animals come in and just decimate them because we don't have a lot of growth here. And so, you know, we're so used to having to work the soil so hard and, you know, sweat and from dusk till dawn, you know, like they used to. And what kind of a yield did we get? We didn't get much of a yield. And so it's hard for us to imagine what we're going to experience. And the animals, it's like so many people today are still saying, I'm going to be in the 5th dimension and I'll still be able to have animals killed for me so I can keep eating them, which is so not right. She's telling me, no, that is absolutely not right. You're still trying to justify, everybody's so good about trying to justify the reasoning of why we're still going to kill and factory farm animals. And remember, I just said that so many things, there will be such an abundance, just a huge abundance. We'll be able to reach out our door and have an apple or a handful of nuts because the climate will be conducive to these things growing all the time. So we won't need to factory farm. So many of us say that, oh, I used to be a vegan and I got very sick, so I'm eating meat again. Well, we know that vegan is a term that just means you eat anything but something that has a face, okay? Plant-based is better. I am plant-based. I am not, I guess, I'm not vegan because I don't eat everything but something that has a face. So I'm not unhealthy. So many vegans were unhealthy. They didn't eat correctly. They still, if you didn't get the correct good fats, you craved sugar. So they consume a lot of sugar and a lot of chips and a lot of processed crap. There's so much processed vegan crap out there. And, but back, but I know a lot of people who are in their 70s that have been vegan for years and years and years, and they've evolved along as we've learned, and they're doing great. I mean, they're not sick like so many people are. And it's funny because a lot of these people will say, well, I was really sick and that's why I became a vegan and I got healed. Hello? Do you hear the words that are coming out of your mouth? You were sick when you were eating the standard American diet, but you had to go vegan to heal. But then I got sick. Well, because you were eating the wrong foods. Once again, you were eating all the crap. But eating meat, obviously eating meat in the first place made you sick. You forgot about that. And so yes, you can get as offended as you want, as Mark Passio says. I don't care. I don't care. And there's so many people out there that are, healers, and they have these huge, the patriots, so many patriots, they're talking about all the changes and everything. A lot of them don't know about the fifth dimension. And so they think that God and Jesus is returning and coming to help them and everything's going to be better and fine. But I've said this before, they forget about this one aspect of not eating other beings. So they're going to be a surprise. So yes, all those changes, and we have to start envisioning those changes, because the more we envision this, the more we're going to see and more we're going to recreate. And so the landscape will change. The deserts were out there because of the galactic wars. So the deserts will green up again. We will see there will be more water because the stealing of water and the draining of our water is all part of the conquering. Let's drain the water, let's use it up, let's make them pay for it, because it's another way we're going to make money off of them and control them and make them think that there just isn't an abundance of water. And we know that there's more water than we need, but we want them to pay for it, and it's just another way of control. So that will go away. We'll see more water. We'll see more rivers and streams. We'll see more waterfalls. And the animal kingdoms will change. We will see more color. The color that we see right now, we have to do this, you guys. You have to do this every day. You have to go out and tell Gaia how beautiful she is, and how appreciative and how in gratitude you are for what you see and the beauty, because the more you see that, the more beautiful she's going to become. And so once this control and those, my friend Sharon Daphna, she wrote the book on the chemtrailing, and she knows all about what's really going on with the chemtrailing. And interesting story, you guys, which backs up what she's been saying. And a lot of people have been getting this information too. They've been filming it. But yesterday, I don't want to lose my train of thought here. Yesterday I was watching, we don't have many planes chemtrailing. It's really strange. It's really strange, but because we're coming in the fifth, it's starting to separate now. But yesterday there was one I was watching it, and it was a plane. It looked like a plane, and you could see the sprays coming out of the wings, and you could see the design, and it was coming out, and it was coming across. And then all of it, and I looked and I started watching, because I always watch for the chemtrail to start dissipate because of my spiral wheel and all the orgonite and everything, and us, entering into the fifth dimension. It's just not a frequency match any longer. And I was watching it, and the chemtrails started to like the orgone was taking over, and it wasn't this long stream that used to span out. Remember how the stream used to span out, and it was trying to span out, but it couldn't. It was just starting to dissipate. And I watched, and then all of a sudden the plane disappeared. It just was gone. It disappeared. And I was like, oh my gosh. So that's what Sharon was talking about. And that's a lot but anyways, a lot of these planes up there with the chemtrails, it's because of this other race that wants to change Gaia. They hate trees, they hate flora and fauna, they hate the surface of the planet, they hate carbon life. They want to change the structure they're terraforming. Well, they're losing the race because we're seeing it. I saw it happen firsthand yesterday, and it was just like, oh my gosh, you guys. So and I lost my train of thought. Damn it. So yes, she will be able to, because she's not fighting that anymore, and because we are shifting. She's already in the fifth dimension. We're many of us are already in the fifth dimension. We're still at that in between where we're kind of mixed up with the 3D and the 5D. So we're still seeing a lot of the 3D stuff play out. And so once that dark stuff finally goes away, we will start seeing this planet transform. She is telling me that she's going to transform like you cannot even imagine. And I've seen it before. I've experienced it twice back in the 90s when we were doing a lot of, when I was working with a lot of my Native American friends, and we would do a lot of journeying. We would do gong journeying. We do a lot of journeying. And I used to, we just called it a New Earth back then. And I used to go twice. I went to the New Earth, and I was able to see it. And one time I was actually with a tiger and I thought it was amazing because I was able to, the tiger said, oh yeah, tiger was enormous. The tiger was huge, like a horse. It was really crazy, but I was able to ride the tiger. It was so cool. It was like, yeah, you want to know what it feels like to ride up? Go ahead, So I hopped on, and, but the beauty was just indescribable. And so yeah, so that is part of the 5D. I don't want to go in. I have so many other aspects of this that I want to go into. The housing and the food and the medicine. And I mean, I suppose I could go into it right now real quick for you guys. So she's going to be restoring her beauty, going back to her original self, because we will no longer be draining her resources. But there will be a lot of free healing. The communities will change. The communities will, Sylvia Brown saw this in one of her prophecies. She saw all these healing communities like around 2030. By 2030, I'll probably be dead. Who knows? I don't know. But she saw the healing communities. And so these are places where we'll just go if we need to heal from anything. And we'll need them at first. That's what Gaia is saying. We'll need them at first, but then they will go away. They will be changed into just living communities, because by then we will learn how to self-heal. We won't need the outside healing. And so of course hospitals they'll be on part of the 3D stuff. But these beautiful healing communities, like, those tachyon chambers, a lot of ET healing ways, the tachyon chambers and the med beds and things like that we've been hearing about. And so we will quickly be able to, our illnesses that we come in with, will quickly be healed. And then those healing communities, we will no longer need them anymore, because we'll be able to self-heal. And because we will be living in harmony and oneness, and we won't have that stress and working 24/7. We'll be able to slow so much down. We won't need to, even to self-heal. We will learn how to continue that just by our vibration and the foods that we eat. And like I said before, we won't need to have these. At first, we will have to have some, of course, at first we'll have to have these farms. It's always, we start this and then we work into that. And as Gaia transforms, the farms will be less and less and less, and the abundance that she will give us will be more and more and more, and we will be working with her more. We will recognize more of that she is our true mother, and that she will provide. She does provide everything for us, and we will be living in harmony with her, and we'll be able to talk with her. We will be able to help her decide what kind of weather we want. If we decide we want to experience a little rain, she'll be more than happy to give us the rain. If we want some snow, we know where to go for the snow. So we will be back to this symbiosis, the symbiotic connection that we have with her. Remember, she is us and we are her. We're all one, and so we will regain that connection. We've been so disconnected from her, and I do this. We weren't supposed to have rain. The last 2 weeks, we weren't supposed to have rain at all. Sunny. You look at the weather, and I finally realized that the weather was not Gaia's weather. It was their weather. It was what they wanted. And I started looking at the weather reports and going, that's bullshit. That's not what I want. And so I just, working more. And it's like we've been getting last week, Monday. No, what was it? Monday. It was like, I was out my wheel, and it was like, Gaia would, everybody, we would like a little rain. Let's have some rain. We really need, everybody's thirsty. It's so dang dry. Well, I'm up here. Well, she gave us rain, and boy, we got hail first. So we have to be careful. And so it's all relearning, to control the abilities that we have and our manifestation. Remember, we're talking about manifesting and how we're going to be able to instantaneously manifest. And so I was so excited. Oh my gosh, look at the rain clouds coming. Oh, listen to the thunder. Oh my gosh, and then we got hail, and we never get hail up here. Not up here. And the Front Range will get hit with hail like crazy, but not us up here. And but then it rained really, really hard after that. And so the next day I was like, okay, we'll take a day off, but then let's just do this really gentle, calm rain. It's just nice little soaking rain. So I'm still learning. And so we did get this gentle rain, but it was like not enough. So we're going to be learning. We're going to be learning how to communicate with her. And there will be those of us who will be, of course, a lot better at it than others. And so we will have certain people like me who, hey, I think it's time for a little rain shower. We'd all like to experience can you ask Gaia? Oh, sure. Okay. Cause I've practiced and I'll know, so there will be the people, not everybody will be able to do everything. There will always be people who will have specialties, the healers, we'll need them for a while, like I said at first, and the healers will be, there'll be certain healers, and then we'll have teachers. We'll have great teachers. We will have musicians. We'll have artists, and everybody will be able to learn. I've always wanted to learn how to play the mandolin, and we'll all be able to learn, and there'll be great teachers to teach us how to do all this. And I'll probably teach art because I'm an artist and write and go back to writing and expressing our emotions and creating what we all experience, because we are going through the greatest show on earth right now. And, maybe films, these beautiful films and documentaries of what we went through to get where we are. It's never been done here before. So and of course, like I said, more communal living, because the population won't be so huge. So we'll have this where so many of us are looking for that today, right? We're all looking for community. And then, my husband and I have done this so much. We move like every 2 years, and we think we find this community setting, and everybody there, a bunch of assholes. And they think, oh, John and Denise will do the work. John and Denise will clear the roads. They'll keep the roads in shape because, we lived off grid, and, we tried all that. And, we've all heard it before. Remember, we've tried and it didn't work. Well, this time it'll be able to work because we will be at a different vibration. It won't be this ego crap that we're dealing with right now. none of that will be part of it. And so we'll be able to, it takes a village, right? Remember that it takes a village. So raising children won't be just mom and dad. It will be the whole community. Oh, today you're going to go over by so-and-so because you're going to do music today. Tomorrow you're going to do writing. The next day you're going to learn how to maybe grow a few things. We'll still be able to grow because so many of us have green thumbs and we love to do that. And we'll be experimenting with growing new species, but it will be all about these beautiful flowers and the scents and the smells, because we've been hybridizing the flora and fauna to not have the scent anymore, because that's all part of the original Gaia. We don't want that anymore. We're going to take that all away. Let's breathe the beautiful smell out of the roses, because we don't want to make essential oils from them anymore. So we're all going to go back to that. It'll be us witches in a candy store. It'll be all there for us. So money, of course, we talk about money. That's going to slowly go away. And the reason that the starseeds have had such a hard time with making money, so many of us have it's like me, it's like, I feel so weird asking for money for what I do. I give more of my stuff away, and I feel bad for my husband because he works his ass off so I can just give all this stuff away to people who really don't respect what I'm doing. They just want, oh, shiny, beautiful thing, I want it. Oh, here, okay, And the reason that is it's so hard for the starseeds is because we came from a higher vibration planet. We came from planets that there was no need for money. We were so used to giving and taking and everybody sharing, that when we came here, it was so ingrained in our memory, even though we had to go through that state of forgetting, it was still there. So for us to do anything for this monetary exchange, it was so foreign to us. It was so hard. So that's why we all, have such a hard time. We want to do all these beautiful things. We want to help heal people. And but we're finding out in the 3D world that it's not really working. We heal somebody and it doesn't stick because they won't do their own work. They want you to do it for free, and they want you to do all the work. They don't want to take the journey. So we're not used to that. And so that's why it's so hard for all of us starseeds to make money. And yeah, there are those who do make money. And good, they figured out a way how to do. They figured out that balance. They figured out how to do this 3D money bullshit thing, and it's still very hard for me. Just for me, if I need money, just let it rain. Let it rain. Money, I still have such a hard time taking money from people. And so that's a few things about what we're going to experience. So we have to really get out there, and we have to start really envisioning it. Okay, here's a perfect analogy. Years ago, when I was a kid, my parents decided they wanted to go get some chickens for eggs. And it wasn't like you could just order chickens online and they'd be delivered in the mail. You had to go to a egg farm, a chicken farm. And there was one that was in the town next to us. And so they had some older chickens, and that they wanted to get rid of because they weren't laying eggs as fast anymore. So we went in this barn. It was just disgusting. It was rows of cages, and there was like 2 rows of cages, and there was like a cage that was like 2 by 2, and they would have four hens and living in this 2 by 2 wire cage. And then they would poop, and it would fall through the cage, and then they would lay their egg, and the egg would do something, roll somewhere or something. I don't remember, but I just remember what these hens all looked like. It was just terrible. They didn't have any combs. Their beaks had been cut off, because when you're stuck in a huge, small, tiny cage, you start to go crazy, and chickens will peck each other. And so they would cut their beaks off. And so we bought these chickens and brought them home, and we had a big barn, and we had this really huge house for them, and then we made this beautiful chicken yard with all this long grass for them. Those chickens would not go out. We would throw them out, they would run right back in. They didn't, because they were so used to living in where they lived, as bad as it was. They didn't have any idea what was out on the other side. So they were so afraid to go out there. They had never experienced it. They couldn't even think it, envision it. And so that's what we're going through right now, because we've lived in this dark world for so long, this horrible, bad video game for so long. So many of us can't envision what it is like to be on the other side. And so this is something we have to really start working. And it's like developing anything. The more you do it, the better you're going to get at it, and the more you're going to see, you guys. So you will start going, oh my gosh, I just saw this. I want to do this. So this is what I'm going to do to bring in the fifth. This is what I want to do. If I didn't have this 9-to-5 job, this is what I really want to do. Oh my gosh. So you're going to start having all these epiphanies, things are going to start coming to you. And so it's just going to be amazing, you guys. I mean, so many are saying we're in the fifth, but nobody's saying what it's going to look like. Nobody are saying or talking about free energy and med beds, but that's still, that a lot of that can still be part of the 3D. We are working into the 5D and up. A lot of us are already in the fifth dimension. Look where I live. I live at 8,500 feet in a private community, a gated community on 12 acres. I don't do the 9-to-5 job. My husband does it because he's a crazy man. He loves to work. He hates to sit. And he loves creating houses. He's very, very creative. And so that's what he's doing right now until, the changes. And so I get to do these videos, and I get to write books. I get to play with my horses. And, so for me, I'm plant-based. I eat plant-based. I make my own kombucha. I mean, so for me, I'm pretty much there. I'm just waiting, and I'm just watching for everybody else to catch up. So it's up to me if I want to be down in the 3D and, go back down there and experience it and take part of that. And it's kind of like the book that I'm finishing up now. It's called Talion, and it's about the same thing. It's about the split, and the 5Ders get to go down in 3D, and there's a lot of light warriors. They just always a warrior. Once a warrior, always a warrior. So they love going down into 3D and kicking ass, and they're kicking reptilian ass, and they love it. They just love it. But they're able, because of who they are, they're warriors, they're still able to go back to the 5D. And so it's really interesting. We're kind of experiencing that right now. So anyways, I think this got longer than I wanted. And I just wanted to get you guys thinking about this 50, not waiting around for it to just materialize. We have to create it. Gaia is already telling us what it's looking like. We have to see it ourselves. The colors, the smells. It's going to be ridiculous, you guys. It's going to be crazy. So for us to get there, we have to see it. We have to smell it. We have to be able to touch it. And so that's how we're going to manifest this a lot faster. All right, this is getting too long, you guys. All right, so we'll talk to you later. And that's all I got to say for today, huh? All right, talk to you soon.